UN is now under question due to the Ukraine and the Russian war, because the UN and the NATO are trying to expand. That's not good for the other USSR or old regime. Now coming back to the subject, so this UN body is something that is regulating a lot of policy and standards for throughout the world, all the countries, and there are UN offices also throughout the places. Even in India, there are many UN bodies. Okay? WHO, IMO, UNICEF, many things are there under UN, and there are a good amount of jobs for you students in UN also. Okay, they take a lot of interns, right? Even in India as well as in abroad also. They prefer people who can speak French, because French is the first or very most used language in that European Union. Therefore, they go for it. Okay, in addition to English. Now, the UN highlights the severe impact on ocean plastic, on marine life and human livelihoods. They started to realize this. From 2020, UN is playing an active role against microplastic toxins. Then, UN incorporates marine plastics, microplastics under 13 of its 17 SDGs also. They have incorporated it. You are aware about SDGs, right? And then SDG 14 specifically addresses ocean conservation and sustainable use of marine resources. Like trees, like oil, marine resources are also perennial. They are not perennial. They can perish. So using them should be in a sustainable manner, so that we can continue to use them in a regulated manner. And target 14.1 SDG aims to prevent and significantly reduce all marine plastics. Then comes WHO. All WHO, World Health Organization. During the time of COVID, they played a significant role. And we are not aware, during different Ebola, some SARS, they are playing a major role, even for malaria in the case of African countries. They are emphasizing to reduce microplastics, extend good research into microplastic toxicity or the effects on human health. They recommend on developing standard methods for measuring microplastic. Measuring microplastic is a huge problem. I am trying to do that. It's a huge problem. How will you measure it? Something that is present in the wild. How will you measure it? All you know is plastic pieces, plastic papers. What is microplastic? Can you see that on your real? By definition, it is from 5 millimeter. Okay, but actually it is called as microplastic only. Then it should be in micrometer size only, ideally. But they can't. It is not possible. Then came the nanoplastics. So it is very, very hard to regulate it, measure that. Okay, and effective waste water treatment can eliminate 90% of them. And then drinking water treatment can filter microplastic smaller than micrometer also. We are speaking so much about microplastic. When I go and speak about microplastic presence in drinking water, and membrane manufacturing company quite frankly told, our ultra pure membrane has a pore size of 10 micrometer. He says that anything above 10 micrometer can filter all microplastics. So whatever you are getting might not have microplastic, it may have maybe nanoplastics. Okay? So we will have nanoplastics in our water. Despite all these things, who noted that global access to adequate water and sewage treatment remains insufficient, not fully addressed. If you take up this locality also, it is rapidly developing, but it doesn't have a systematic drainage system. These many places, I have walked behind this building when it was a rice paddy field. I have walked. Okay? So what I mean to say is, more of this place was paddy field, and it doesn't have a drainage system, but it has a system for irrigation. These irrigating system, canals are now used as drainages. Big apartments or institutions like our institution have sewage treatment plant, water treatment plant, waste treatment plant. So they filter, create sludge, remove microplastic. What about households, individual households? A lot of thing is running into the water. Okay, ends up in our plate finally. Now the regulatory measures in other international organizations and regional unions, Association of Asian Countries. This has a lot of Brunei, Cambodia, all other things, Philippines and other things. They also, after the UN, they also started to address them. And then in US, micro beads. US is some country that is technologically 10 years ahead of us. Okay? So when we are dealing with microplastic, before 10 years itself, they started to use microplastics for specific purposes, as a filler, as a carrier. Okay? So a lot of micro beads were used, and Micro Beads Act, Water Act was introduced in 2015. While UN opened its eye from 2020, US created an act in 2015 stating that micro beads should not be used in commercial products, okay, because they are mostly used in face creams and other things, because they give a good texture, they fill our pores very easily. Other nice product is silica is used extensively, okay, and the act encouraged the use of biodegradable plastics. Mainly the impact on environment was important. The act pushed for development of wastewater treatment plants that can prevent microplastics, and technologies, bioremediative technologies were also increased, and several US states also enacted such laws banning single-use plastic SUVs. Then UK aims to make all plastic recyclable, reusable or compostable by 2025 by this year. Alright? UK is also no stranger. These countries have very wonderful infrastructure, very wide roads. I have seen the Prime Minister of the UK just going in a 2-car barricade. He just had 2 cars, one in front of him, one in behind him, and 2 bikes. That's all his entire ceremony. He goes to the parliament, he goes to the home. I had seen him going through once. So they have simplicity, they try to reduce plastics, and there was a proposal in 2019 to reform packaging producers deposit return scheme, where like European countries where you put bottles and get money out, right? For plastics also they were proposing, and new regulations under UN Brussels Convention require prior informed consent for plastic shipment. Here comes waste discard. UK was also one of the abusers where they send waste to other countries. Now from UN Brussels Convention they started to get informed consent for sending such plastic waste shipment to non-OECD countries. Okay. And then China is also enacting these things, and Malaysia also followed in 2018. Australia is also having similar problem. Canada also having. Australia is nowadays having effective system because it is surrounded throughout by the ocean. All the oceans are, if you look at the ocean soil, you can easily make out a lot of plastic out there. Okay.